Welcome to Liesl's Artistic Studio. I'm glad you're joining me today. If you watched the video from last week, then you learned how to make super easy flowers using watercolor brush pens. Today, I'm going to show you how to make similar flowers only using normal watercolors. This can be done using a professional set of watercolors or a cheap set like I'm going to be using. So sit back and let's go and have some fun.
Here's the flower painting we're going to do today. Now don't worry if it looks too hard. I'll show you how to paint everything step by step. First, we need to gather some supplies. We need a piece of watercolor paper cut to any size. Mine is cut to fit a picture frame I wanted to put it in. We need watercolor paints. I'm using a cheap set. We need a brush, and I'm going to use a round brush with a nice fine point. And of course, water and a paper towel and maybe a scrap test paper. Now before we start painting, we will be mixing some colors. The first will be a combination of blue and purple for the flowers, and you can mix that right in your tray. Try to make sure that you have a good amount of color mixed so you'll have enough to paint all of your flowers. And then test out your color and keep mixing it until it's a color that you like. Next, we'll mix a nice green color for the stems and leaves of the flowers using green and a touch of black. Again, test out your color and make sure that you've mixed a color that you like. Now it's time to start painting. Rinse and dry your brush off really good before you begin. To make our flowers, dip the tip of your brush in your blue violet and make 5 dots of color in a circle. After your 5 dots are made, then rinse off your brush and take off some of the excess water, but keep it wet still. A little water is needed to help spread the color around. Then using your slightly wet brush, use the tip and start pulling at one of the color dots maybe 3 or 4 times, creating a sort of a triangle shape. And let the edges of the petals be a bit jagged. After all 5 petals are done, let's add a pop of color to the center by dipping only the tip of your brush in water. Then dip it slightly in the pure purple that hasn't been mixed and dab it in the center of your flower. Let the color slightly spread through the other petals. It will give it a really neat look if it does. Then do the same with just a little bit of black. Now rinse and dry your brush off good, and you're ready to do the same process over again for your other flowers. Now, if you'd like, you can make some of these flowers look like their side profile by only painting 4 dots in a semicircle, and then use the same technique as before. Now that you've learned how to make these easy flowers, all you have to do is paint as many flowers as you want in your painting. When all of your flowers are painted and dry, you can now start adding the stems and leaves. Using your green that you previously mixed and only the tip of your brush, or a skinnier brush if you have it, start making some thin lines for the stems. Keep in mind that each flower stem does not have to be painted clear to the ground. You can simply attach it to another flower stem if you need. After your stems have been painted, you can add some leaves. I'm going to make a few grass-like leaves at the bottom of some of the stems, as well as some normal decorative leaves throughout. If you need tips on how to paint leaves, you can watch my previous watercolor basics video that is posted in the description or at the end of this tutorial. Just continue adding different size leaves until you're satisfied with the look. And if you're using a cheap watercolor set like me, you may need to repaint some of your leaves a second time after it's dry.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had some fun. Please check out more of my videos and subscribe to my channel so I can continue to help you discover your artistic side.